Hello children, welcome to e-learning. I hope you all are enthusiastic and in high spirits to learn something new in mathematics. Today you will be learning quadratic equations. But before we learn our new topic for today, let us quickly recall our previous knowledge on linear equations. An equation in which the highest degree of the variable is 1 is called a linear equation or a simple equation. Let us consider the examples for it. 2x plus 5 is equal to 10 is a linear equation in one variable where we can find the value of x coming out to be x is equal to 5 by 2. Now 4x plus 5y is equal to 20 is another linear equation in two variables. But to find the value of x and y, we need to have another linear equation which satisfies the given constraints. Now look at this. Yes, that's right. I am sure you all must be jumping with joy whenever you have a sports hour. It's a Coco match. Now let us consider the situation. Sports Committee of Pudur Model School wants to construct a Coco court of dimensions 29 meters by 16 meters. This is to be laid in a rectangular plot of area 558 meters square. They want to leave space of equal width all around the court for the spectators. What would be the width of the space for spectators? Would it be enough? I hope you all understand the word spectators. It means audience. Okay, now let us draw the court first. Let's imagine it would be something like this, whose dimensions are 29 meters by 16 meters. Now, this green portion is the place which has to be allotted for the spectators, that is audience. And the width of the space would be x meters on all the four sides. Now let's try to relate this situation to an equation. Now our new length would be 29 plus 2x meters because we have x coming on this side and to this side of the length. That is why we have 2x here. Now the new breadth would be 16 plus 2x meters because we have x meters here and on the other side of the breadth. Now let's try to bring the situation to an equation. Suppose the width of the space be x meters. Then the length of the plot would be 29 plus 2x meters and the breadth of the rectangular plot would be 16 plus 2x meters. Therefore, area of the rectangular plot is equal to length into breadth, which would be 29 plus 2x multiplied by 16 plus 2x. But what is the given area of the plot? It is given to us that the area of the plot is 558 meters square. So, the product of the length and breadth should be equal to 558. That is the reason 29 plus 2x multiplied by 16 plus 2x should be equal to 558. Now let's open up the brackets by multiplying the respective terms. 29 multiplied by 2x, 29 with 16, then 2x with 16 and 2x with 2x. Now what is the product we get? 29 into 16 gives me 464, 29 into 2x gives me 58x, 2x into 16 gives me 32x and 2x into 2x gives me 4x square. And this should be equal to 558. Now let's rearrange the equation in descending powers of x. So we get the equation as 4x square plus 19x plus 464 is equal to 558. As we can see, we can reduce this equation by bringing the 558 from right hand side to left hand side. Now our equation comes to 4x square plus 90x minus 94 is equal to 0. Now when we divide the complete equation with 2, we get a new equation 2x square plus 45x minus 47 is equal to 0. Thus, 2x square plus 45x minus 47 is equal to 0 is an equation in which the highest degree of the variable x is 2. Now I am sure you all must be relating this equation 2x square plus 45x minus 47 is equal to 0 to your quadratic polynomial which you have learnt in class 9. Now let's look how a quadratic equation is. A quadratic equation in the variable x is an equation of the form ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 where a, b, c are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. Now let's understand why a is not equal to 0. If suppose our a is equal to 0, then the coefficient of x square becomes 0 and the equation reduces to only bx plus c is equal to 0, which is a linear equation and not a quadratic equation. So the condition a is not equal to 0 is very important for any equation to be called as a quadratic equation. Now let's consider the examples. X square minus 36x plus 308 is equal to 0 and x square minus 6x minus 4 is equal to 0. Thus we can say that any equation of the form p of x is equal to 0 where p of x is a polynomial of degree 2 is a quadratic equation. Now let's understand the standard form of quadratic equation. Ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 where a is not equal to 0 is called the standard form of quadratic equation, and y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c is called a quadratic function. Children, kindly understand the difference between the quadratic equation and the quadratic function. In quadratic equation, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, whereas in a quadratic function, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to y. Now let's understand various situations described by quadratic functions. Yes, you can see a rocket, right? Now when a rocket is fired upward, then the path of the rocket is defined by a quadratic equation. Shapes of the satellite dish, reflecting mirror in a telescope lens, lens of the eyeglasses and orbits of celestial objects are defined by the quadratic functions. Now let's check if the following equations are quadratic or not. Now we are given an equation wherein the LHS is the product of two binomials x minus 3 multiplied by 2x plus 1 and RHS is x times of x plus 5. Now let's open up the brackets by multiplying the respective terms. X with 2x, x with 1, minus 3 with 2x and minus 3 with 1. And on the right hand side, x with x and x with 5 using distributive property. Now after multiplying x with 2x, we get 2x square, x with 1 gives me x, minus 3 with 2x gives me minus 6x and minus 3 with plus 1 gives me minus 3. Coming to right hand side, x into x gives me x square and x into 5 gives me plus 5x. Now let's bring up all the terms from right hand side to left hand side and equate it to 0. Now when we transpose the terms from right hand side, plus x square becomes minus x square and plus 5x becomes minus 5x. So we get the equation as 2x square minus x square plus x minus 6x minus 5x and minus 3 is equal to 0. Now let's simplify this. We get an equation as x square minus 10x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now what do you understand the degree of this equation is? Yes, x has the power as 2. So yes, it is a quadratic equation. Now let's look at another equation. We have x minus 2 multiplied by x plus 1, which is equal to x minus 1 multiplied by x plus 3. Now when we are multiplying x with x, x with 1, minus 2 with x and minus 2 with 1, similarly x with x and x with 3 and minus 1 with x and minus 1 with 3, we get x square plus x minus 2x minus 2 is equal to x square plus 3x minus x minus 3. Now let's transpose all the terms from RHS to LHS. What do we observe? We observe there are two x square terms with the same coefficient and the same sign. So, after eliminating x square on both the sides, we get minus x minus 2 is equal to 2x minus 3. How are we getting minus x? Plus x minus 2x gives me minus x and 3x minus x gives me 2x. Now, let's try to write this as one equation by transposing the elements. Now, what do we get? We get minus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. Let's rearrange the equation as 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. As you see, the degree of x here is 1. We observe it is not a quadratic equation but a first degree equation. So, this is not a quadratic equation. Now, let's learn how to represent situations with suitable mathematical equations. The hypotenuse of a right triangle is 25 centimeters and the difference in lengths of other two sides is 5 centimeters. What is the length of the two sides? Now, what is given to us? A right angle triangle. So, what are we presuming? Let the length of smaller side be x centimeters. So, the length of the larger side would be x plus 5 centimeters. But what is the length given to us of hypotenuse? It is given to us as 25 centimeters. We all know in a right triangle, side square plus side square is equal to hypotenuse square. So, this is our right angled triangle whose smaller side is x and the larger side is x plus 5 and the hypotenuse given to us is 25. So, let's substitute these lengths in the respective places. So, side square plus side square is equal to hypotenuse square. When we substitute, we get x square plus x plus 5 whole square is equal to 25. Now, x plus 5 whole square is in the form of a plus b whole square and you all know a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. So, when we simplify this further, we see x square plus x square over here gives me 2x square plus 10x plus 25 and 25 square gives me 625 and I am transposing this 625 to the other side and I get minus 625 here. So, my equation is 2x square plus 10x plus 25 minus 625 is equal to 0. Now, what is the equation we are getting? We get 2x square plus 10x minus 600 is equal to 0. Dividing this complete equation with 2, we get x square plus 5x minus 300 is equal to 0. So, thus x square plus 5x minus 300 is equal to 0 represents a quadratic equation with x as length of two sides. Okay children, I am sure you must have understood how to represent a real life situation to a mathematical equation. Let us understand how to find the solution or root of a quadratic equation. A real number alpha is called the root of the quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 if a alpha square plus b alpha plus c is equal to 0. Thus, x is equal to alpha is a solution of the quadratic equation or alpha satisfies the quadratic equation. Now, let us consider the quadratic equation 2x square minus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. Now, what are we trying to do? We are trying to find the root of this equation. So, I try to substitute x with 1. So, substitute x by 1, we get on LHS side wherever x is there, I am substituting that x with 1 with the respective powers. So, 2 into x square instead of x, I will be substituting 1. So, 2 into 1 square minus, so I have 3 into 1 plus 1. Now, we all know 1 square is 1. So, what are we getting here? 2 into 1 square gives me 2 into 1, minus 3 into 1 gives me 3 and plus 1. So 2 1s are 2, 2 minus 3 gives me minus 1, minus 1 plus 1 gives me 0, which is my right hand side. So by substituting 1 in the place of x in the given equation, I am able to get the LHS equal to RHS. Thereby, I can say 1 satisfies the given equation. Therefore, 1 is a root of the quadratic equation. 2x square minus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. Now, children, please make a note that the zeros of the quadratic polynomial ax square plus bx plus c, where a is not equal to 0, and the roots of the quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a is not equal to 0, are the same, which means zeros of a quadratic polynomial or the roots of a quadratic equation, both are same. Now let's try to find the roots of a quadratic equation by factorization, that is splitting the middle term, which you have learnt in your previous class. Let's consider an equation x square minus 3x minus 10 is equal to 0. Now, when we multiply the coefficient of x square with the constant, I get it as 1 into minus 10, which is minus 10. So, the product of two factors comes out to be minus 10 and the sum of two factors should be minus 3. So, my greater factor should be negative and smaller factor should be positive. Now, let's see what are the pairs of factors of minus 10. Plus 1 and minus 10 or plus 2 and minus 5 satisfies the given condition. So, pair satisfying the given condition is equal to plus 2 and minus 5. Now, I am trying to write this minus 3x as minus 5x plus 2x. So, my equation comes out to be x square minus 5x plus 2x minus 10 is equal to 0. Now, let's take the common term in both the terms, which is x square minus 5x. We observe taking out common as x into x gives me x square and x into minus 5 gives me minus 5x. Similarly, I take 2 as common in the remaining two terms. 2 into x gives me 2x and 2 into minus 5 gives me minus 10. So, we observe x minus 5 is common in both the terms. If I take x minus 5 as common, I am left with x plus 2. So, x minus 5 into x plus 2 is equal to 0. Now, understand here children, when the product of two terms is equal to 0, then either of the terms must be equal to 0, which means either x minus 5 should be equal to 0 or x plus 2 should be equal to 0. If we consider x minus 5 is equal to 0, then x should be equal to 5, or x plus 2 is equal to 0, then x should be equal to minus 2. Thus, we can say that minus 2 and 5 are the roots of the given equation. Now, let's come back to our triangle problem, where we have represented the situation with an equation. Now, let's try to solve the equation x square plus 5x minus 300 is equal to 0. Multiplying the coefficient of x square, which is 1, with minus 300, I get product of two factors as minus 300 and sum of the two factors should be plus 5. So, my greater factor should be positive and smaller factor should be negative. So, the pairs of factors of minus 300 are minus 1 300, minus 2 150, minus 3 100, minus 4 75, minus 5 60, minus 6 50, minus 10 30 and minus 15 20. So, the pair satisfying the condition is minus 15 and plus 20. So, I am writing this middle term plus 5x as minus 15x plus 20x. So, my equation comes out to be as x square minus 15x plus 20x minus 300 is equal to 0. Now, let's take the elements which are common in the first two terms, which is x. If I take x as common, x into x gives me x square and x into minus 15 gives me minus 15x. Similarly, I take 20 as common in the remaining two terms. So, I get 20 into x gives me 20x and 20 into minus 15 gives me minus 300. So, my equation comes out to be x minus 15 into x plus 20, which is equal to 0, which means x minus 15 is equal to 0 or x plus 20 is equal to 0. So, my x value should be 15 or minus 20. But side of a triangle cannot be a negative value. Side should be 15, which means value is 15. Therefore, the length of the smaller side is 15 centimeters. Now, let's look at another sum. Find the numbers whose sum is 27 and product is 182. And these are the two numbers which we need to find, whose sum is 27 and product is 182. Now, I am supposing the two numbers to be x and y. What is given to us? It is given sum of the two numbers is equal to 27. And I can write this as x plus y is equal to 27. So, I am transposing this x to the other side. I get my y value as y is equal to 27 minus x. Now, I suppose this equation as 1. Now, what is the information? Other information given to us? Product of two numbers is equal to 182. So, when I multiply x with y, that should be equal to 182. So, instead of y, I substitute 27 minus x from equation 1 in the place of y. Opening up the brackets, I get 27x minus x square is equal to 182 minus x square plus 27x minus 182 is equal to 0. Rewriting the equation, I get x square minus 27x plus 182 is equal to 0. Now, the product of the two factors should be plus 182 and the sum of the two factors should be minus 27. So, our both factors should be negative. So, pairs of factors of 182 are minus 1 and minus 182, minus 2 and minus 91, minus 7 and minus 26 and minus 13 and minus 14. So, the pair satisfying the given condition is minus 13 and minus 14. So, our equation x square minus 27x plus 182 can be rewritten as x square minus 13x minus 14x plus 182 is equal to 0. So, when I take common and write the terms, I get x into x minus 13 minus 14 into x minus 13 is equal to 0. Since x minus 13 is common in both the terms, I take it as common and write it as x minus 13 into x minus 14 is equal to 0. So, I get x value as 13 or x value as 14. Now, here I get two cases. When x is 13, then since x plus y is equal to 27, my y value comes out to be 14. And in case 2, when x is 14 and x plus y is equal to 27, so my y value comes out to be 13. Therefore, 13 and 14 are the numbers satisfying the given conditions. Now, let's have a quick recap of the session. Standard form of a quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Is x cube minus 6x square plus 2x minus 1 equal to 0 a quadratic equation? No. As you can see, the degree of x, the highest degree of x here is 3. So, it is a third degree equation. Now, the third one is a real number alpha satisfying ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 is called root or solution of a quadratic equation. Now, the last one, to factorize a quadratic polynomial, we split the middle terms. That's all for today, children. Hope you all understood what is a quadratic equation, how do we represent it, and how to factorize it. We will get to know more about quadratic equations in the next lessons. For better understanding of the concept, please visit the SCRT website. Thank you, children. Happy learning.
ఆ చదువులమ్మ నేరుగా ప్రతి ఇంటి గడప చేరగా మీ భవితకే భరోసా దూరదర్శన్ వేదికగా